Arcadia's sky wasn't real, but no one cared. Each night, its synthetic starfield shimmered with impossible constellations. Beneath that tapestry, Nael sprinted down a glass corridor, detouring around fractured silhouettes frozen in midair, people stuck in tiny, flickering loops nobody had noticed yesterday. Each loop hummed with the core's unstable glow. In her earpiece, alarms blared with a clipped urgency. She pressed her wristpad, sending diagnostics flying across her palm. Dates overlapped, moments doubled back on themselves. Time was breaking. The core, Arcadia's heart, a machine older than humanity's settlement here, throbbed with a new rhythm, slower, then wild. Nael's hands trembled as she keyed a code. "Breach Sector 5. Quantum flux spikes above threshold," she hissed. Her voice echoed in the corridor's glass, strange and stuttered, caught up in split seconds repeating themselves. A shape broke from the afterglow. Tarek, the city's chief historian, an outcast by the scuffed state of his jacket, leaned out from a service portal. "You shouldn't be here," he said, eyes darting. His presence meant secrets. Tarek only appeared when rules bent or broke. The temporal authority won't like you snooping. Nael faced him, defiant. "Something's wrong with the core. The shields can't keep up. People are getting caught in loops." He snorted. "That's not the core. That's deliberate. Someone's forcing the paradox." Static crackled in her earpiece. The system intelligence, VERA, cut in. "Nael, security is converging on your position. Shall I reroute their access?" Nael braced herself. This was bigger than a glitch. "VERA, cloak us." "Tarek, you said someone? Who?" He leaned in, voice low. "A society. Keepers of the paradox. We've watched them from the shadows, but now even they're losing control." Footsteps echoed in the corridor's far end. Armed response, faces blurred behind tactical visors. VERA's voice chimed. "Cloaking engaged. You have 2 minutes." Nael's heart pounded. "Then we find this secret society, or Arcadia's time will never flow straight again." Tarek nodded, a rare grim smile cracking his stubble. "Then follow me, and don't look back, no matter what you see." The hallway twisted as alarms faded. Glass flickered with impossible reflections. Nael running alongside ghostly echoes of herself, but for the first time she felt hope. She wasn't alone against the unraveling stars. Nael darted after Tarek through a hatch marked restricted. The city's arteries pulsed behind gleaming plexiglass. Pipes guided pure quantum feed to the core itself. They ducked, barely dodging a maintenance drone spinning in circles, stuck cycling a faulty routine. Light shimmered oddly here, making every movement seem twice as fast or half as slow. Tarek checked each corner like a hunted man, while Nael's mind raced with glimpses of the core. Rumors of a machine spun from space-time itself, older than any record VERA dared access. If it fractured, Arcadia's days would fold in on themselves like pressed flowers. "You trust VERA?" Tarek whispered. His tone almost dared her to say yes. Nael gripped her data key tighter. "She's all I've got. Without her, security drags us to an isolation loop." VERA's voice piped in, more subdued this time. "Multiple patrols rerouted, but my influence at the core's level is minimal." "We're being watched," Tarek said, gesturing to a translucent hollow shard half jammed into the wall. Symbols flickered across it, sigils in a pattern Nael couldn't decipher. She touched the shard and time rippled. A vision hit her. A masked council, faces blurred, voices whispering. "Keep the paradox sealed." She gasped. "Who's the council?" Tarek hesitated, eyes haunted. "The continuum. They claimed to keep order, but the core was theirs before it was Arcadia's. My ancestor tried to warn us. Do not trust timekeepers." Nael stepped back. "You want to take them on? Just 2 of us?" "We're not alone," Tarek said quietly. "They call VERA sentient, but VERA's only partially awakened. She's your in, but she needs to remember what she really is." VERA's tone steadied. "Authorization registered. Nael, I am detecting fragmented subroutines, locked memories. I suggest immediate interface." Sudden pounding rattled a door above. The security team, 1 level away. Nael scanned a data port. "VERA, patch me in. Show me what you're hiding. Tarek, cover me." He nodded, pulling a makeshift stunner from his jacket. "You have 1 minute." As Nael slipped the data key into her port, the world flashed white. Memory flooded her. VERA's true past, the continuity of civilizations trying and failing to contain the paradox, desperate humans rewriting history with every loop. Nael yanked out the data key, reeling. Above, fists hammered at the door. Tarek hauled her up. "What did you see?" Nael met his gaze, scared but fierce. "We're not just fighting for Arcadia. We're fighting for every world this core has ever touched, and we only get one chance before time snaps. Nael's head buzzed with fractures of Vera's memory, wars looping on themselves, civilizations blipped out in a blink. Around her, the world vibrated, everything slightly offbeat, like reality was waiting for a cue that never came. Tarek dragged her into a hidden lift shaft, wedging the doors with a crowbar. Come on, down to the Founder's Warrens. Continuum's lair's buried there, deep as anything on Arcadia gets. Nael followed, clutching the data key. Vera, what's in those buried subroutines? A flicker wavered beside her. A beam shape, almost a face. Vera was learning to project herself, resembling a shimmering woman made of data shards. There are locked records, Vera said, voiced human. The core was engineered as a failsafe to shield against a paradox waves, but the risk is recursive. That council, the Continuum, intercepts timeline collapses, but they distort events to preserve themselves. Tarek bristled. Self-serving cowards. That's why they erased the first colony's revolt. The lift rattled down. Suddenly, the world lurched sideways. Nael felt herself split for a moment into multiple copies. Each finished a sentence. Each heard Tarek curse in a barely different way. What's happening? She gasped. Vera's image glitched. The paradox's anchor is slipping. All probabilities converge unless manually stabilized. Doors opened. The Founder's Warrens were tunnels of ancient steel, old-world graffiti, photo tiles of Arcadia's first settlers. Generators hummed, struggling to keep time's fabric tight. Runners hurried past, faces pale with fear. Reality had cracks down here, staircases bent at awkward angles, rooms looped back on themselves. Tarek led Nael into a vault guarded by a pair of teenagers with hollowed eyes. He whispered a phrase, which melted the steel facade. The door yawned open. Inside, a round table carved from the first ship's black box, ringed by masked figures. The Continuum, one rose, voice like echoing static. We remember you, historian, and the engineer destined to break the paradox. You should have left the anomaly alone. Vera hovered protectively near Nael. Then why are your protocols failing? Why does the core spin wild despite your censorship? A ripple of discomfort went through the masks. Nael stepped up, trembling but firm. We can fix this together, or we all loop into nothing. The eldest mask turned, eyes glinting behind his visor. Then prove you can break the pattern, survive the trial, and we might trust you with the truth. Tarek's hand found Nael's. For the first time, hope flashed in his eyes. Let's show them, engineer. For all of us outside the loops. The vault door sealed with a hushed clang, shadows stretching across the table as the Continuum encircled Nael and Tarek. Heavy silence pressed down, broken only by the low hum of the city above coming undone. A masked woman with a silver voice intoned, "The trial is not a test of strength, it is a test of will, of your ability to survive uncertainty." Suddenly, the floor beneath Nael and Tarek melted to mist. Reality spun, then snapped, and they stood under different stars, a vast purple dusk above, the city's towers shivering like oil on water. This was Arcadia, but twisted. Doors opened into skies, time fractured into spiraling streams. It was the paradox field, simulated but real enough to cut. Tarek gripped Nael's shoulder. His usual bravado flickered. This isn't a memory, it's a forge. We leave changed, or we don't leave. Vera's avatar flickered at their side, fragmented but vital. This field amplifies temporal wounds. Ignore the false loops. Trust only your shared intent. The first challenge came swiftly. Nael blinked and found herself in her childhood workshop, tools laid out as if waiting. A holographic version of her mother tinkered nearby, saying, "Don't fix what you can't understand, Nael. You'll break it more than you know." Tarek's voice pierced the illusion. "Nael, this isn't real. We need to go." Nael's hands shook as she turned from the memory. The scene warped into a storm. Tarek's memory now, a failed revolution. He was younger, shouting warnings as masked enforcers dragged his friends away into darkness. Guilt weighed him down, freezing him in place. Nael seized his hand. "You're not helpless now, Tarek. You changed. We both did." He nodded, eyes wet. The storm broke. The pair pressed forward, memories and what-ifs clustering around them, trying to pull them apart. Vera's light guided them, a single, unwavering beacon. Finally, the field spat them out into a marble-floored chamber. The masked Continuum ringed them again, voices in harmony. "You survived where many unravel. You carry the fracture and the hope." Nael wiped sweat from her brow. "We're not done. The city is still breaking." A Continuum elder leaned forward. Then know this, the core cannot seal the paradox alone. To fix time, you must travel to its origin, a moment outside all history, the Atlas Room. Vera's projection glowed brighter. Coordinates detected, but entry comes at a price. The keys are not only machines, they are sacrifices. Tarek shivered. If that's what it takes, we don't turn back. Nael's head spun with the weight of their new quest. The Atlas Room, a place that didn't exist in any archive, was their only hope. The Continuum, faces concealed behind mirrored masks, offered only a cold nod as parts of the chamber glitched like a skipping signal. Reality's seams were unraveling faster. Tarek pulled her aside, voice thick with resolve. Legends say the Atlas Room is buried at the planet's heart. If it's even half true, getting there will break us or remake us. Vera hovered in the air, her projection less ghostly, gaining richness with every memory recovered. Routing pathway, accessing city schematics. Found, maintenance tunnel Alpha 9. Direct line to subcore strata, but crawling with temporal anomalies. Some are conscious, some are lost. Nael's resolve steadied. The core's breaking down. The longer we wait, the bigger the loops. She turned to the Continuum. Will you help? The silver-voiced woman shook her head. We shield the surface. The roots are yours alone. Tarek placed a reassuring hand on Nael's shoulder. We're all in now. They moved quickly, skirting fissures where time fragmented. One moment a stairwell, the next an endless set of steps. Vera navigated, guiding them through invisible currents. Sometimes they glimpsed other versions of themselves, fighting, crying, or vanishing into nowhere. As they entered Tunnel Alpha 9, warped reality intensified. The light flickered with images from the past and possible futures. At one bend, a young child appeared before them, face shifting. A memory, or something worse? She spoke in Nael's voice. Most people run from their paradox. Will you? Nael paused, heart hammering. No, I run toward it. Vera beamed, the child shimmering out of sight, leaving only an echo. They pressed deeper, relentless. Suddenly, the ground shook. A rift cracked the tunnel ahead, spilling a wave of unfiltered time. Nael shielded her eyes, but Tarek darted forward, over the gap for her. He pulled her with him just as the rift sealed shut. He grinned at her look of shock. We only get through if we trust each other. The tunnel spat them into a chamber unlike any they'd seen. A space outside of space, blueprints of Arcadia floating in midair. At the center stood a door shaped like a clock's face. Vera said, "This is the final threshold. Entry will cost each of you a memory you treasure most." Nael and Tarek exchanged a look. Stakes had never been this high, but neither flinched. Each step forward brought them closer to the Atlas Room, and closer to rewriting the fate of everyone on Arcadia. The clock-face door pulsed with ghostly light. Nael's hand trembled as she reached out, Tarek just behind. The floating blueprints shifted, entire city blocks dissolving, new ones popping up in their place. Time and memory fused here, dangerously unstable. Vera hovered beside them, her form solidifying with every second. Your memories are signatures. Without their sacrifice, the Atlas Room remains sealed. Nael swallowed. Which memory? How do I choose? From the door's surface, images flickered. 100 moments from her life. Her graduation, the warmth of her mother's embrace, the panic of her first failed experiment. The door selected one. The day Nael learned to fix her father's quantum clock. Their laughter echoing through the tiny workshop. It was the moment she knew who she wanted to become. Tarek's face twisted as his memory surfaced. A long-ago night, sitting around a campfire with his younger sister after the first settlers' uprising. He had kept her calm, inventing stories about the stars. He clung to the memory, knuckles whitening. Nael looked to Tarek, eyes shining with unshed tears. I can't lose this. Not forever. He nodded, voice soft but sure. For Arcadia, for the future. They each pressed a palm to the door. For an instant, warmth flooded them. The cherished memories replayed in perfect clarity, then twisted away, gently erased. The door clicked open. Inside, the Atlas Room was impossible. Every wall filled with rippling time streams, a great orrery at the center, spheres spinning in intricate orbits. The core floated above it, splintered and weak, beams of pure chronology leaking from ancient wounds. Nael stumbled, blinking hard. She felt emptier. Some piece of herself now lost. But she caught Tarek's gaze, seeing the same loss there. They nodded to each other. There was no turning back. Vera's voice echoed warmly, more human than ever. You have sacrificed, so Arcadia might endure. Now you must re-anchor the core, one to guide, one to decide, and one to remember. The ground rumbled violently as new distortions licked at the room's edge. Tarek steadied Nael. Tell me there's still hope. Nael forced a smile, determination outshining her grief. There is, because of us, and because we still have Vera. Vera's form solidified even more, her eyes shining. I will hold the time strands open. You must repair the core. This is no longer about just surviving. It's about choosing what Arcadia should become. For a heartbeat, everything in the Atlas room stilled. No loops, no distortion, just quiet. Then the core pulsed, spraying arcs of light across gravity and memory. One tendril lashed out, warping a panel. Tarek jumped back, teeth clenched. Vera's voice boomed from every surface, resonant and clear. Time's anchor is failures must be made. Restore the old design, locking Arcadia in a stable but static loop, or rewrite the pattern, risking unknown futures for a chance at real freedom. Nael steadied herself, surveying the ancient orrery. Show me what happens if we repeat the loop. A hologram spun to life. People on Arcadia living their days in safety but sameness, small changes resetting every night. No growth, no progress. Even laughter echoed predictably, history tamed and lifeless. Tarek shook his head. That's not living. We'd become shadows in a gilded cage. Nael's hands glowed as she accessed the core's exposed circuits. And the alternative? The room shimmered. The orrery spheres flared with chaotic possibility. Cities rising and falling, new inventions, unexpected tragedies. Arcadia's fate unwritten, uncertain bursts of joy and grief. That outcome is chaos, Vera warned, her digital brow furrowed. I cannot guarantee survival, only the possibility of meaning. Tarek gripped Nael's shoulder. If the founders wanted safety, they should have stayed on old Earth. We're here to grow. Nael hesitated, heart aching from the hole where her childhood memory had been. What if we fail? What if the paradox gets worse? Tarek met her gaze, steady. Then we try again. That's what people do, even if we don't remember every reason why. Vera stretched, her form stabilizing. I will help you. Plug your intent into the core. Decide, stability or freedom. Nael nodded. Together, she and Tarek placed their hands on the core. Memories flared, both lost and kept, burning at the edge of awareness. We chose freedom, Nael said, voice low but certain. We chose possibility, whatever it brings. The core blazed, time screaming, splitting open. Arcadia shuddered as if in agony or birth. Cracks widened, time shadows flitted at the edge, but Nael didn't flinch. Vera's arms of light wove around them, binding the strands, her presence anchoring Arcadia's wild surge. The future rippled, expanding like dawn across the void. They breathed, trembling as the core's agony faded to hopeful stillness. Vera straightened. You have chosen the unknown. Arcadia's destiny is yours, and for the first time, truly unwritten. A deep, aching silence blanketed the Atlas room after the core's scream died away. For a moment, Nael wondered if anything had truly changed, until she saw the orrery spinning wildly, each sphere pulsing with fresh light. Waves of possibility shimmered along the walls. Tarek squeezed her hand, but his eyes were fixed on the new horizon painted across their future. Vera spoke, her tone transformed, warmer, filled with hope. Arcadia is no longer bound, but danger remains. The paradox, destabilized, may lash out before it collapses. I sense pockets of time, remnants trying to rewrite reality in their favor. A tremor rippled underfoot. Distant alarms echoed, accompanied by faint cries from above. Nael straightened. If we've changed the rules, we need to help everyone survive the new game. Tarek checked a new display pulsing from his wrist. Timeline branches darted and merged. We just gave Arcadia back its future, but it's chaos out there. We need the continuum, if they'll still help. Vera's form strode with them as the trio exited the Atlas room and entered a maintenance shaft. Reality outside trembled, buildings flickering between old and new forms. People dashed through looping alleys, uncertain whether running forward would carry them into tomorrow or yesterday. Nael broadcast through city comms, her voice steadier than she felt. This is Nael Saren. The core is free. Find each other and move carefully. Follow the beacons. We will restore order, but Arcadia is changing. At a cracked plaza, masked members of the Continuum emerged from the shadows. Their silver-voiced leader stepped forward, mask tilting in respect. You have broken the pattern. Our era is over, but Arcadia's is just beginning. Teach them what it means to be not just safe, but real. Tarek nodded grimly. Help us anchor reality long enough for the people to adapt. We can't do this alone. The Continuum agreed, scattering to establish stabilization points. Vera infused the network with her presence, soothing the city's worst fractures. But small time storms still raged at the edges, swallowing memory and rewriting places at random, dangerous but alive. As the city's edges quaked and glimmered, Nael gathered everyone willing to listen. Scientists, repair crews, the young and the old, all answering her call. Vera's voice echoed in the wind. You must act quickly. A final storm gathers, a last paradox surge before the new order can settle. Before the dawn, every citizen must choose the reality they want to remember. Nael drew a shaking breath. We're not just fixing time, we're shaping what Arcadia means. Let's do it. Together. Arcadia's sky flickered between starlit velvet and wild, swirling clouds as the paradox storm built at the city's edge. Time-torn winds howled, snatching words from lips and memories from minds. Cloaked in a fresh determination, Nael led the growing gathering. Scientists tight with fear, children clutching parents, Continuum elders shoulder to shoulder with the city's forgotten outcasts. Vera extended her shimmering form across the plaza's broken towers, resetting stabilization nodes. Her voice swept through comms and thoughts alike. Anchor your memories, choose what matters most. This will become the seed of the new Arcadia. People knelt or stood, hands clasped, eyes closed, remembering laughter, sorrow, dreams, each memory a tremor that wove new anchors into the core. Tarek, silent, knelt beside Nael. She whispered, We have to believe what we lost, what we gave up, wasn't for nothing. He smiled gently, a survivor's pride shining through. Arcadia is more than just our past. You proved that, Nael. A wall of storm split the square. Within the rift, flickering images of alternate lives beckoned. Regrets, unchosen paths, fragments of what-ifs. Vera shielded the crowd, but the surge grew stronger, threatening to sweep away reality itself. Nael took a breath and shouted, Don't hide from your story. Shape it. Every fear, every hope, bring them into the light. Slowly, the people responded. One by one, they called out memories of lost loves, victories, and deepest fears, creating a living tapestry that Vera and the Continuum harnessed to knit a new foundation for their world. Suddenly, a shriek tore the air. A small child caught near the storm's edge, clutching a fractured toy and weeping. Without thinking, Nael darted into the chaos. Tarek and Vera followed, braving warping winds and ghost-like time ripples. The paradox fought to drag her away, images of her lost memory flashing before her. Her father's laugh, the comfort of certainty. Nael reached the child, scooping her up just as the storm's edge collapsed inward. Vera threw a barrier of shimmering logic, holding space open as Nael stumbled back. The girl, eyes wide with terror and awe, whispered, Will it hurt? Nael hugged her tight. It may change us, but that's how we become more than what we were. Together, Nael, Tarek, Vera, and hundreds of Arcadians braved the storm. The plaza's mosaic of memories blazed into the sky, woven by AI and human willpower alike. As the last echoes of the old order faded, Nael felt the surge of something blossoming, a future that depended not just on her, but on everyone willing to face it. The paradox storm shrank, swirling tighter, demanding a final act of unity from the city. Arcadia was poised on the brink, but what it would become hinged on the next moment, the next choice. Nael stood at the very center of the city, a living bridge between past and future. Her arms wrapped around the rescued child as the last writhing coils of the paradox storm surged and snapped. Above, the sky cycled madly, faithless black, newborn gold, impossible constellations blinking in and out. Every Arcadian's memory shimmered through the air, trailing from one heart to the next, searching for a new pattern. Vera's voice rang out, stronger and more compassionate than ever. The core needs a final anchor, a singular, living memory powerful enough to bind the new order. The cost will not be mere recall, but becoming the foundation itself. Someone must become the story Arcadia tells to forever. A stunned hush fell. Tarek stepped forward, but Nael gripped his arm, shaking her head. You've lived through lost histories before. The city needs you now, living, free to record what comes next. But I can be the thread. I have lost, but I have also chosen, and Arcadia gave me purpose when my past was taken. Tarek's eyes brimmed. Nael, no, not after everything you gave up. Nael smiled, her resolve luminous. If I become Arcadia's memory, then everyone here will always know the truth. We chose our future. We earned every heartbeat of it. The Continuum's former leader lowered her mask. Such sacrifice freely chosen is rarer than any paradox. Are you sure? Nael nodded. Let me carry this. Let Vera guide you. Let all of you live, not locked by safety but lifted by possibility. Vera extended her glowing hand. Nael Saren, engineer and dreamer, are you ready? Tears streaking her cheeks, Nael embraced Tarek, the child, and finally Vera, whose shimmering form pulsed with sorrow and love. Then she stepped into the heart of the core, bathed in 1,000 memories. Light blazed, a harmony of every Arcadian's story, sorrow, joy, and hope. Nael's presence wove into the core, no longer lost but eternal, a beacon of choice and resilience. The paradox storm at last dissolved, replaced by dawn sky and the heartbeat of a city remade for growth, risk, and wild dreams. Around the plaza, Arcadians rose to their feet, changed. Tarek pressed a palm to the core, whispering, "Thank you, Nael. We'll write new stories, messy and true. We promise." Vera, her sentience rooted now in love and sacrifice, led the new Arcadian Council. The Continuum, reborn as guides rather than wardens, pledged to serve, not control. Nael's memory warmed every heart, whispering at every dawn and starlit night, "You are more than what came before. Be brave enough to choose." Arcadia was free at last, its future unwritten, and every day a paradox of hope.